Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about working in coffee shops. Okay, so today let's get out of this boring office and go for a drive.
Was an ordinary day. Then she walked in and looked my way. With just a glance, yeah, I was sold. My head in disarray. How are ya? How's your night been gone? I said, I'm not that type of guy, you know. But why don't we talk? Yeah, let me buy you a drink. And then she kissed my face, yeah. I'm falling. I was all in. Now I'm running to survive. You got me in overdrive. I'm running, yeah, you've done it. I'm running so fast.
All right, so I'm out and about again today, obviously, right? I just went out for a drive to go work in a coffee shop for a while. So I worked in a Starbucks for the last couple hours. The only reason I'm leaving is because my parking's about to run out, right? So somebody asked me a few months ago whether or not, I think it was when I was showing the office, in the comments, somebody asked if I ever work in coffee shops. And to be honest with you, the answer was no, I never really do. I always, it's just, I know people do it, and and I think I read a book once where they talked about the benefits of working from coffee shops and everything. Right, but I thought, I have an office, I've got all the monitors, I've got my mouse and all, everything in my office is perfect the way I want it, right? But, of course you can do everything from laptop too. But I always kind of wanted to try it. So last week I came down here to a Starbucks, which is about 20 miles away from the office actually, and I was mainly looking for an excuse to just go for a drive. Right? I didn't have any client meetings. I haven't had any client meetings for a few weeks, and I'm just like starting to feel like I just got to get out a little bit. Right? And this is the thing I always find when I'm working even when I'm working a contract or something else, it seems like there'd be this balance between I got to get around other people and I got to get away from other people, right? So it's like when you're coding, you're just like, I just need to get distractions out of the way. If people would just give me 5 minutes peace, right? And then other times when you do get those solid blocks of hours and you just fall out of flow, and you're just like, I'm so bored. I wish there was somebody here to talk to. Right, so last week I came to the coffee shop, right, and I worked for a couple hours, and it was kind of nice, right? So I did it again today, right, and I just about to leave. And here's what I find though. So this is my second time actually, going out doing my field trip, as it were, right? Is that once I start getting into the code, or once I start working, the rest of the world kind of disappears, right? It was like, and it was, if I'm answering emails, then it's kind of nice, between emails I could look around, doing admin type of stuff. But what happened was, I got an email from one of the users saying that the restore button on one of the apps wasn't working, right? And it wasn't the first time I heard this, and I thought, well, it must be, we tested this, right? And I went through and looked at the code, and then I noticed that, oh, you know what? It's not working, right? I don't know when, how that, when that happened, but the restore button on one of the apps was actually not working. So I started, debugging it and everything. And when this happens, when I have this, this sort of focus or whatever, everything else just disappears, right? My world is, here and here, right? It's just like the jazz music. I can no longer hear the jazz music in the Starbucks, right? I can no longer, whatever anybody else was talking to, it was just completely filtered out. And it was like, it didn't matter if I was in the office or at home or, wherever, I could have been sitting in the car doing it, because that's the focus that you look for, that sense of flow, right? And it's funny because when I think about it, I think, one day it would be cool to have like a Google office or something, something where, you have the ping pong tables and all this, or work someplace like that. But then you think, once you get into the code, once you get into the flow of things, none of that stuff matters, right? So, somebody sitting on a laptop in a coffee shop is just as productive as somebody sitting in the, in an office someplace. The only problem we have is like, if you work someplace where there's lots of noise, like in an office where there's lots of distractions, people want to have lots of meetings, or they want to pop by and just chat or whatever, and they've fallen out of the flow and they just want to have a chat with you, but you're in it, right? That's kind of difficult. Or if you have small kids, that's always difficult, right? But anyway, so here's my question to you guys, because when somebody asked me that, I started thinking, is there a benefit to actually working in coffee shops or different places just for the variety, or is it just better just to go to where you are? Because when I'm in a coffee shop, obviously on a laptop, not on a laptop, right? I don't bring all my 3 monitors with me and just get into my, and scoop down in the chair and just get into the, and everything. So it's a little bit different, but then once you get into it, you get into it. So how do you guys find it? Do you prefer working in coffee shops? Do you prefer co-working spaces? Do you prefer to have like a room in your house that you go to, or do you prefer to be out in the open with lots of people walking by? I loved working from home. When I was working, the last contract I worked at, we had a lot of days where we could work from home. I loved it, and I know so many people absolutely hated it. So what do you guys think? What works for you? Anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.